うん、それでこれ木本画面見えるのかな。
見えてますよ。はい。
だから今日はだからまず最初ねMost Advanced AI の内容のビデオを15本見せます。でこれは10個のですね最も先進的なジェネラティブ AI の話を10個言います。でこれは多分みんな知ってると思うけど、もう一度知識の一回確かめで、その最後にですねソロっていうソフトが出て、説明が10番目ソロっていうソフトの説明が出てきます。でそのために今日はですね動画の説明なんでソロから入っていきます。
Artificial intelligence is
あれなんか喋ってる。でソロから入って
大丈夫。はい。
ソロから入ってきます。でそのソロよりももっとビビッドなね動画を作ってくれるのは僕知らなかったんだけど、ハイパーっていうねソフトがあるんです。でハイパーに入ってきます。そうするとねハイパー見るとね、あ、これはもう映画できるなっていうイメージを持ちます。すごいです。で最後にはね短いけど、ね、映画を作ったねサンプルをそこまで多分いけると思うんだけど、僕は20個のね、YouTube をねたくさんの中で選んだので、20個なんか見せられないんで多分今日は5つか6つで終わりますけど、そこまで今日やろうと思ってるんですね。でそれで今日はそういう意味ではエドがいないのは残念だけど、それでちょっとまず最初は勉強してもらおう。じゃあ見てくださいね。
Around the world competing to push the boundaries of what's possible. But what is the most advanced AI system in existence right now? In this video, we'll explore the cutting-edge developments in the AI space and highlight the 10 most sophisticated systems that have been developed so far. Let's get into it. Number 10, Otter.ai. Beyond the basic transcription capabilities, Otter.ai offers several advanced features
これは僕知りませんでした。
that set it apart from other AI assistants.
木本知ってた？
For example,
録画始めてください。
始めてるよ。
始まってる？
うん。
じゃあ大丈夫ですね。はい。
it includes live notes that allow users to add photos, links, and emojis to their transcripts, helping them to capture key insights and takeaways from meetings and conversations. Additionally, Otter.ai provides action items, which are auto-generated lists of tasks that can be shared with other users, making it easy to stay on top of important tasks. With these features, Otter.ai is an invaluable tool for productivity and collaboration. These capabilities make Otter.ai stand out as one of the most innovative and useful AI assistants available.
これ木本が使ってるさ会議の議事録を文字起こしする、ソフトと一緒だねこれ。
そうだからノッタとオッターが大体コンペティターですよ。
すごいよ。僕あなたくれたの、俺すげえ忙しくてまだ見てないけどYouTube の録画をさ文字起こし英語と日本語でしてくれるっていうのはもう目から鱗だよ。俺今1000本ぐらいのね1000本1500本ぐらいの YouTube 僕のそのswingby.jp の雲野塾のサイトに持ってるんですよ。でこれを2週間かけて全部整理して全部整理終わったんですよ。
はい、
全部整理終わったんで、だからそれをねあなたが言ってるソフトを導入すれば1500本の YouTube を全部文字起こししたらばとんでもないことになっちゃうんだけど、それをセレクティブにしようと思ってる。例えばまず最初にやろうと思ってるのは孫子の兵法の講義が30回ぐらいあるんですよ。で30講義を全部文字起こしすると孫子の兵法の本ができちゃうんですね。あと36系も講義してるのと、それからあと日本の精神も50本ぐらい講義してるんですね。これはねこれをまず最初に文字起こししようと思ってるんですよ。で YouTube にくっつけて文字起こしを貼り付ければ、かなりただ整理しないといけないのは 毎週それはね、孫子は土曜日の午前中やってたんで、それを集めないといけないんですよ。週別にバラバラになってるの。それをね、集めてね、整理しようと思って、それはさ、もう気が遠くなる仕事だけど、それはやろうと思ってるんですよ。
はい、
で、前に木本にお願いしたチャット GPT によるさ、例の、なんていうか、要するに文字を入れたら、文字を入れたら答えが返ってくる、俺の本とか、俺の運動塾通信の中身とかね。でそうすると今度はさ、とんでもないことができるようになるんですよ。
なります。
ただその中にね、2500本の中にイスラエルとか、イスラエルのガザとか、ウクライナとか、それからいろんなテーマでディスカッション、例えばサルトルとかね、議論もしたことあるんですね。でかってエドと議論したそういうふうないろんなテーマで議論したものはね、5年ぐらいのやつビデオ撮ってあるんですけど、実はそれらはね、時間の経過の中で古くならないんですよ。エルカトーレトーレの
久野さんが前エドと話したコンフォートウーマンのね、オランダでの話、
コンフォートウーマンね、
インドネシアの話とか、あれは結構いい内容ですよね。
コンフォートウーマンはね、エドはね、いつもね切れるんですよ、話すると。白馬のなんとかってオランダ人の女性をね、売春婦にしちゃった日本軍がね。
あれはケースはやばいケースですね。
あれはもうすごくやばいケースで、そうしちゃったんですよ。だからそれはね、実はそういうふうな5年間のね、エドとのディスカッションのやつは全部ね、それは英語なんですけど、英語はね、これはね、1年かけて文字起こししようと思ってるの。でそれを全部ね、例えば時系列じゃなくて、テーマ別に実はね、もう一回ね、ソートアウトしようと思ってるんですよ。で、これは運動塾通信をやってきた、この運動塾の講義やってきた過去5年間をね、2018年8、9、10、1、2、3、8、9、10、1、2ぐらいまでかな、エドとの録画してるのは。5年間分をね、実は全部文字起こししようと思ってるの。で、1500本あるんですよ。1500本ですよ。で、それはね、とんでもなく気が遠くなるような量なんですけど、誰も見てないんだけど、なんていうかな、いろんなテーマ別にね、せっかくだから整理して、どうやって利用していいか分かんないんだけど、あなたなんかからとか、うちの今ここにいる生徒なんかからも意見を聞いて、どうすれば一番いいのかっていうことをね、考えようと思って、でなぜそれができるようになったかというと、今まさしく話したこのアザードと AI ができたから、今すごいよ。木本が買って、俺まだ買ってないけど、YouTube の今日録画してるでしょ、これをさ、YouTube からこれを録画したやつを画像変換するじゃないですか。でその画像変換したやつを、そのソフトにかけると全部文字になって出てくる。
画像になって文字になるんですか？
いや、だからその画像をね、そのソフトが全部読んでくれて、瞬時に文字を起こしてくれる。例えばこれ喋ってるでしょ、でこれ録画するじゃない、これね、2時間半、で2時間半長すぎるんで、これいつもこれ10分ごと切ってるわけだ。10分のやつを文字起こしのこの今言ったアザー.ai に入れると、アザー.ai が別にそれを見るわけじゃないけど、その録音したやつをその.ai の中の文字を彼らが機械で文字起こしをしてくれるの。瞬時
はすごいですね。それはその録音の中に入ってる音声を文字起こしっていうわけでは。
そうだからYouTube のやつをそのソフトが読んで、瞬時に読んで、瞬時に文字起こししてダーッと打ってくる、瞬間で。
そうなんですね。なんか僕が知ってるやつでChrome のプラグインなんですけれども、それ入れると YouTube の中にある字幕をなんかバッと出してくれるんですよ。だから文字起こしが一気に見えるプラグインもあります。
同じだ、文字起こしなんだから、しかもね、僕は毎日毎日ね、 エコノミストの記事を読んで貼り付けて、それで僕はそのエコノミストの記事のね1000文字ぐらい
はい
をサマライズって指示すると、
はい
チャット GPT に僕 3.5 使ってるけど
はい
1秒でサマライズしたの。
すごいですよね。
1秒ですよ。それ同じようなことがこの今 Other.ai ができる。
はい
すごくない？だからそれはね、まさしく僕自身のね、今まで一生懸命努力してきて、一生懸命その運動塾通信で作ってきた木本氏、あなたは最近見てないでしょ？
何を？
運動塾通信。
メルマガ
私毎日見てるじゃないですか。何を言ってんですか。
あんた見てんの？あ、これじゃない。
毎日チェックしてる。時々なんかメール
違う、運動
って
塾通信じゃなくてね、これかな？あ、これだ。運動塾のホームページ。木本これ全部作り直したの。3週間かけて。
ああ、
これが毎
お疲れ様で
日のやつ。これが今言った土曜日の18年から2021年までのやつ。
菅谷さん、この2週間かけてやり直すというのは、私、海野さんやっぱりアスペルガー症候群だと思うんですけど。
まあ、ちょっと私は書かれないんですけど、いい題材かなと思うんですけど。
2020年3月、
うん
こうやってさ、いっぱいこれね、データベースがでかすぎてさ、すぐ出てこない。これはだからウェスターナーズ・インディビジュアリズムをエドと話したやつね。こんなのがさ、2500本。これ今2020年3月だけど、2020年6月。あ、これなぜかってこれね、出てこないのはね、リンクの失敗。いくつかあんだよ。7月は出てくる。2020年6月また作り直すけど。
これ載ってるスクリプトが要約部分になるんですか？
あ、そうそう、これ今このインナー.aiね。これね、これはさ、2020年7月4日にやったやつだけど、西田喜太郎の絶対無の自覚の講義を僕はしてるの。でこれをね、これをサブミットすると、Other.ai にそれを1秒で彼は全部読んでダーッと打ち出し始める。木本、このホームページさ、全部作り直したの。すごくない？
それはすごいです。
すごくない？
それすごいですよ。
しかもさ、
私そこまでできないですよ。
しかもさ、これさ、全部作り直したの。
すごいですね。
3週間かけて、ものすごい字が。2020年10月11日、アジアの経済。ファクトリーアジア。これはね、日本語なんですよ。英和翻訳の講義で。これでしょ？これ土曜日でしょ？これエドのやつと。あと、孫子の平和と日本の政治。それから、これが今毎日やってるやつね。エコノミストの解説。で、これはね、2020年4月はまだ入れてないんだけど、3月までは全部入ってるの。毎日のやつね。これはだから、これも YouTube。これが運動塾の通信、運動塾のホームページ。全部ね、書き直したんだよ。木本、時間あるときに見てくれる？みんなも。ただね、中を見ると膨大なんで。
ウェブサイトの方ですね。わかりました。
気が遠くなる。例えば松田先生との対談も全部入って入れ直したの。松田先生の対談ね。もう1時間だけど、これ全部入れ直したの。ほら。
これすごい勉強になります。
なるよ、これ。菅谷はこれ、菅谷はそれこそこの松田先生のやつを全部見たらいいよ。 世の中の常識が分かるからこれはねいいこと言ってんです。毎月ね滞在してこれもね時間に関係ないんですよね。だけどもう3年ぐらいやってるんでこれ入ってるんです。ここにアクセスするとでアドレスはね swingby.jp/www
今スマホの方で確認できました。
それでそこを見てくれるともう運河のごとくデータが入ってるこれ本当はただじゃもったいないんだけど今ただでやってるの。
そうなんですね。
果てしない情報量。
貴重なレッスン内容ですね。貴重なレッスン内容ですね。
そう貴重、今の講義はね、土曜日は今エドがいるのEY が、ね、禁止してるから彼は2021年から録画できなくなった。だからやってないんだけどね。で今日は木本というのはたまたまエドいないんで録画してる。でこれがなんと
It's a powerful tool for both individuals and organizations looking to improve their productivity, and it shows great promise for the future of AI-powered productivity. Number 9, Tesla Autopilot. Tesla, renowned for its electric
これはよくみんな知ってるよね。オートパイロットテスラのね。
cars isn't just about vehicles. It's delving deep into artificial intelligence, AI, to enhance
テスラの自動運転っていうのは何が優れているかっていうと自動運転技術じゃなくてジェネラティブ AI を駆使したもう完全なだから今ロボット作ってるでしょ、でテスラの自動運転のそのものをですねロボットにソフトウェアを移しただけでもロボットがテスラのソフトウェアとして彼らはもう動いてるわけですよ。だからテスラの凄さはさトヨタが真似できないのは僕EV でさ電気自動車でトヨタ負けてるって言ったでしょ、違うんですよ。何にトヨタ負けてるかっていうとジェネラティブ AI のシステム開発で負けてるんです。トヨタはね例えば今ハイブリッドでEV からハイブリッドに脚光を浴びてるから今トヨタ追い風だけどトヨタも決定的に負けてるのはジェネラティブ AI、要するに総合パッケージ力がトヨタはない、要するにねインベッデッドソフトウェアということで例えばエンジンとかそういうとこにくっつくねソフトウェアは彼らいっぱい作ったんだけど総合パッケージは持ってない。それが今このテーマね。
It's driving. Their brainchild, the Tesla Autopilot, is a sophisticated AI system. It employs cameras, radar, sensors, and GPS to take the wheel, quite literally. With autopilot engaged, the Tesla can steer, accelerate, and brake on its own, even handling parking and reversing, all while keeping an eye on the road for potential hazards. Remarkably, it boasts an impressive 90 to 95% accuracy in accident detection, a feature that significantly reduces the risk of collisions. The magic behind Tesla Autopilot lies in its cutting-edge AI tech, which includes computer vision, deep learning, sensor fusion, and motion planning. But what sets it apart is its use of deep reinforcement learning. This means that over time, autopilot isn't just static. It's actively learning and evolving through experience. This continuous learning loop allows it to make split-second decisions on the road, often outperforming human drivers in terms of safety and efficiency. Number 8.
これだからテスラのオートパイロットってトヨタも似たような自動運転の技術を持ってるんだけど根本的に違うのはテスラはもう完璧なジェネラティブ AI でいわゆる1トリリオンのレイヤーを積み重ねたノウハウをテスラは持ってる。1トリリオンだからなんていうのあれ、レイヤーを持ってる。ディープラーニング持ってるんだ。それでもって自動運転を達成したってことはさ人間の判断にかなり近い。トヨタはそんなの持ってない。
トヨタの AI ってあんま聞かないですよね。
でも彼らは自動運転技術を蓄積してるけど スタートが違うの。テスラそれ要するに電気自動車っていうことよりもソフトウェアでもって彼らはのし上がってきたから、多分コーディングのレベルだったら10倍ぐらい多いテスラの方がそんな感じだよね。だからオートパイロットのソフトウェアからすぐロボットのソフトウェアに彼らはそのまま転用できるっていう。
ロボットの方も全部同じ AI 使ってるんでしょうね。
同じのすごい。
ああ、なるほど。すごいな。
どうすごいかっていうと、この間ここの文化祭が1ヶ月前にあったけど、僕も出展したけど、同じくね、一社はさ、リンゴを置いた時に僕が手を触るとリンゴ、それからスポンジを置いた時に触るとスポンジ、分かるのこっちで、遠隔で、
そうなんですね。
すごい。日本の会社だよ。だから触った感じがスポンジなので、リンゴだったら硬いリンゴっていう、そういうね、そういうやつをなんていうの、モンスターみたいなパッケージを持ってるのがオートパイロットだから、トヨタは持ってない。次はワトソン。
Watson, IBM. Watson
これは僕知らなかった。ワトソンって言葉は知ってるけど、
ワッツォン
is
は
the
かなり AI では有
brainchild
名。
of
AI の世界でワッツォンはかなり有名なプロダクトっていうかサービス。
そうなの。俺知らなかった。
IBM. Initially designed as a chatbot armed with advanced language skills and neural networks, Watson's journey took a thrilling turn when it faced off against human champions on the iconic quiz show, Jeopardy! Surpassing
アイコニッククイズショーでやっぱりチャンピオンになったから、やっぱりすごいんだよな。
expectations, Watson clinched victory, claiming a hefty prize of $1 million. Since
なんかそういうクイズで1ミリオンだら。
then, Watson has evolved into a versatile tool, finding its way into various applications crafted by IBM engineers. From customer service to virtual assistants and chatbots to recommender systems, Watson's prowess knows no bounds. But Watson's talents extend far beyond trivia and customer queries. In the realm of healthcare, it showcases its ability to analyze images and predict conditions, even spotting potential skin cancers from a mere
ということはさ、IBM はこのワトソンを使って自分の会社の例えばカスタマーサービスとかインクワイリーとかありとあらゆる形でこれを利用してんだろうな。
宇野さんね、
photograph.
IBM ってこのワトソンを使ってチェスの世界王者を倒してるんですよ。
あ、そうなの。これ
そこで有名なの。
ワトソンを使ったの。
そ
後でね、5のね、
う。
話が出てくるよ。チェスはこれでやったの。
はい。
With remarkable precision, Watson identifies ailments ranging from cancers to cardiovascular diseases, offering tailored medication recommendations. Hospitals and health centers worldwide harness the power of Watson to enhance patient care and diagnosis.
このペーシェントケアのダイアグノシスもできるとは知らなかったな。
Empowered by today's robust computational resources, Watson AI transcends the boundaries of traditional human capabilities.
これできるってことは医療に対してさ、ワトソンが実際にはアメリカでは一部利用してんだろうな。
It sees, hears, speaks, and learns, mirroring the faculties once exclusive to humans. Number 7.
これ、木本アルファ5。
アルファゴン。はい。
これは Google のディープマインドを開発したの。
AlphaGo, Google
古い。
DeepMind.
2014
Around
年。
2014, Google DeepMind introduced AlphaGo, an extraordinary AI. It gained fame in 2016 by defeating Lee Sedol, a top Go player, in a 5-game match, grabbing headlines worldwide. Go, an ancient Chinese board game, is simple in rules, but incredibly complex, relying heavily on human intuition. Many believed its intricacies made it too challenging for machines to grasp. Surprisingly, AlphaGo not only learned the game, but also developed human-like intuition, playing creatively beyond anyone's expectation.
今将棋もあるよね。
ありますね。
将棋。ただ将棋もあるけど、Go みたいに将棋の 自動が勝てるっていうのはまだないんだよね。
そうなんですか。
どうしてか分かる？
なんでですかね。
日本の将棋って、
うん、
取った駒をもう一回使えちゃうんですよ。
あ、そうそうそう。
それで手数が全然変わってくるんですね。
だからコンピューターができないんだよ。
うん。
その変数変わるだけで難易度一気に増すんですか？
いやもうそんなの何億回っていうか、もう人間の頭じゃないとなんていうかイントゥイティブって直感的なね、判断じゃないとできない世界じゃないの、将棋って。だからコンピューターで計算できないんだよね、きっと。なぜかって取った駒はもう一回使える木本が言う通りだから将棋はねただ今藤井さんがねコンピューターの将棋のソフトを利用しているのは駒の置き方って極限的に見た時にどうしたらいいのかっていうのはできるんだよね、きっと、コンピューターで。ただ取った駒をどう利用するかっていうのはまだできない。
なんか僕が聞いた話だとなんか絵みたいな感じで処理して、でその絵の中でのこのルートみたいなのを探すみたいな。だから絵に写ってない自分の持ち駒が対応できないみたいな感じなのかなと思いました。
それはだって持ち駒だってさどうなるかわからないでしょ、持ち駒自身が。いや例えばさ将棋を進めて相手の駒を取ることは取れるけど、取った駒を置いといて今度は次の手でそれを利用するっていう条件をつけた時に多分何億回みたいなシナリオが出てくるんだと思うよ。
This feat was achieved through deep reinforcement learning, where a convolutional neural network
だからこれコンボルーショナルニューラルネットワークを使ってんだよね。 CNN
was trained on vast data sets of human Go games, refining its skills through trial and error. The victory against Seedall marked a pivotal moment.
多分ね3年ぐらいしたらこの CNN がまた2桁ぐらい30兆ニューロンみたいになったら30兆のレイヤーになったらできるかもしれないね。もっとは300兆ぐらい、人間の脳がどれぐらいあるか分かんないけどニューロンが、1兆以上だよね。人間の脳って何兆あるんだか分かんないけど、
in AI and machine learning history, showcasing AlphaGo's potential beyond Go. DeepMind researchers help its versatility, demonstrating applications in regulating Google data center cooling systems and tackling diverse challenges like protein folding. 10 years later, it still stands as one of the most advanced AI in the world. Number 6, DALL-E 3.
こっから入るんだよ、DALL-E 3から。映像。これは映像ね、動画じゃなくて。
DALL-E 3 is OpenAI's latest breakthrough, following in the footsteps of DALL-E 2, unveiled in March 2022. Inspired by Salvador Dali and Wall-E from Pixar, DALL-E 3 takes creativity to new heights. DALL-E 3 isn't just an upgrade, it's a leap forward. OpenAI claims it understands even the
DALL-E 2から DALL-E 3はリープフォワードって言ってるんだけど、どこがリープフォワードなんだか僕もよくわかんない。
subtlest nuances, making it a wizard at turning text into images that match your imagination. Imagine
だからここで言ってるのは turning text into images that match your imagination image.
describing your dream image, and poof, DALL-E 3 brings it to
だこれがDALL-E 3のイメージだね、こう言ってるんだけど、まあ
life. From specific features to detailed scenarios, this AI powerhouse can tailor-make images for various purposes. But here's the trick: conveying the vision effectively. That's where ChatGPT comes in handy as a prompt generator, helping users articulate.
これが左側がさ、プリビアスモデル。右側がDALL-E 3。まあよくわかんないよね。
Their ideas.
立体感がダリーになると増しましたね。
そうリアリスティック。リアリスティック。それは言えると思う。今日の後の 話はダリー3が動き出す。
For DALL-E 3 to work its magic. And
信じられない。
if the first attempt doesn't quite hit the mark, fear not. Users can tweak and refine until they are thrilled with the outcome. DALL-E 3 has some ground rules that prohibit violence or hateful content. Plus, it politely declines requests.
まあ彼らはもう当然暴力とかさ、それからセクシャルハラスメントとかそういうのは意図的に出さないようにしてんだよね。
For images of public figures or in the style of living artists. These safeguards aren't just for show. They're part of DALL-E 3's mission to promote responsible AI use and combat misinformation. Number 5.
Google Genie ね。
Google's Genie. Genie, termed an actionable, controllable world model by its creators, has been trained on over 200,000 hours of publicly available 2D platformers from the internet. It can interpret prompts, sketches, and images to generate virtual worlds, craft assets from scratch, and adjust pixels according to player interactions. One of Genie's remarkable features is its grasp of physics, acquired through extensive, unsupervised training spanning hundreds of hours. This comprehension enables Genie to navigate various layers of game mechanics, including player control, actions, and movement. Beyond game development, there is potential for Genie's application in robotics, aiding in the training of robots to navigate environments. Genie's exceptional performance is attributable to its utilization of cutting-edge technology, namely the Variational Quantum VAE, VQVAE model, and Spatial Temporal Transformer, ST Transformer architecture. These technologies enable the model to maintain a balance between efficiency and capacity, crucial for processing complex video data and yielding realistic and immersive virtual environments. With Genie, a single image input can result in the creation of an entirely new, interactive virtual environment. Number 4, GPT-4. GPT-4, OpenAI's latest language model, follows in the footsteps of its predecessor, GPT 3.5. Boasting cutting-edge reasoning and creative abilities beyond imagination, GPT-4 features a staggering 1.76 trillion parameters and has been
GPT-4 は2兆パラメーター。2兆だと思ったけど2兆。
trained on a vast array of text data, including diverse programming languages. Notably, it transcends mere text processing, showcasing proficiency in handling visual data like images. This makes GPT-4 a formidable multimodal AI, seamlessly integrating language and vision domains. Additionally, GPT-4 stands out for its remarkable processing capacity.
木本 GPT-4 契約してたよな。
してますよ。はい。
Capable of handling up to 25,000 tokens per request, compared to its predecessor's 3,000 token limit. This means GPT-4
これトークって言ってるのは文章の長さね。
can summarize entire 10-page PDFs in a single interaction. Number 3, Google Gemini. Gemini stands as a remarkable AI system constructed from the ground up using Google's advanced AI technology stack. Unlike many AI models limited to text, Gemini boasts multimodal capabilities, comprehending and responding to text, images, audio, code, and videos, making it exceptionally versatile. Offered in 3 distinct sizes, Gemini provides options tailor-made to various needs. Gemini Ultra, the most potent version, excels in handling complex tasks in the cloud, showcasing remarkable reasoning abilities. Demonstrations on their YouTube channel exhibit Gemini's flawless execution of tasks with multiple inputs. Gemini Pro strikes a balance between power and portability, ideal for daily use, and accessible through platforms like Bard and Google AI Studio. Finally, Gemini Nano, the smallest version, ensures portability by efficiently running on smartphones, enabling AI usage on the go. Gemini surpasses competitors like OpenAI's GPT-4 in benchmarks, particularly in grasping intricate concepts such as mathematics, coding, literature, and reasoning. Its prowess makes it invaluable for tasks like research, code generation, and elucidating scientific theories. Google has made Gemini Pro accessible to developers via their API, now completely free and accessible through Google AI Studio, formerly known as Maker Suite. Number 2, Claude 3. The Claude 3
これ最近クラウド3っていうのは注目されてるよね。
model family establishes new standards within the industry across various cognitive tasks,
今までのいいとこ取りしてんだよね。
comprising 3 cutting-edge models, Claude
Comprising 3 cutting edge model って書いてあるでしょ。
3 Haiku, Claude 3 Sonnet, and Claude 3 Opus. The family offers escalating levels of capability. Users can choose the ideal balance of intelligence, speed, and cost tailored to their specific needs. Opus and Sonnet are currently accessible via Claude.ai and the Claude API, now accessible in 159 countries. Haiku will soon join them. Opus stands out among its counterparts in most common AI evaluation benchmarks, exhibiting near-human comprehension and fluency in complex tasks, thus pushing the boundaries of general intelligence. All Claude 3 models demonstrate enhanced capabilities in analysis, forecasting, content creation, code generation, and multilingual conversation. These models are suitable for powering live customer chats, auto-completions, and real-time data extraction tasks.
こんなん出てきたのほんと1年ぐらいだからね。半年とか。ものすごい変化してるんだよね。
The Claude 3 models boast sophisticated vision capabilities, able to process various visual formats such as photos, charts, and technical diagrams, catering to enterprise customers with diverse knowledge bases. Initially offering a 200K context window, these models can handle inputs exceeding 1 million tokens, potentially available to select customers requiring enhanced processing power. Number 1, Sora AI.
これは最後ね。
Sora possesses the capability to generate intricate scenes featuring multiple characters, specific movements, and precise details of both subjects and backgrounds. It comprehends user prompts and their real-world implications, showcasing a deep grasp of the language to craft expressive characters with vivid emotions. Additionally, Sora can produce various shots within a single video, maintaining consistency in characters and visual style. Based on the technology of DAL E3, Sora operates as a diffusion transformer, employing a denoising latent diffusion model with a transformer serving as the denoiser. It generates videos in latent space by denoising 3D patches, which are then transformed into standard space through a video decompressor.
だからダリー3がベースになってるな。
The model is augmented with recaptioning, utilizing a video-to-text model to enrich training data with detailed captions. OpenAI trained Sora using a mix of publicly available and licensed copyrighted videos, although the exact number and sources remain undisclosed. Researchers, including Tim Brooks and Bill Peebles, highlight Sora's ability to autonomously generate 3D graphics from its dataset and create diverse video angles without explicit instruction. OpenAI marks Sora-generated videos with C2PA metadata to denote their AI origin. If you have made it this far, let us know what you think in the comment section below. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.
これで最後は空なんだね。それでその次は空の説明をのビデオをちょっと見てみようね。
Where Sora is excelling and where its limitations are. And at the end, we're going to take a little sneak peek into what the future of AI video might look like. So,
これ今映したのは空のやつね。
join me as we dive into the latest developments in AI video together. Take a look at this example. This is a supercar driving through a city night at night. Heavy rain everywhere.
これすごいのはさ、はっきり分かんのは今度違うところに同じ車走らせてる。それから車の種類を変えて走らせる。ね、それが AI でできちゃうっていうのはすごい。
Shot from behind the car as it drives. And what's fantastic about Sora is its ability to render out realistic light reflections. Just look at how the lights of the car are accurately reflected into the wet tarmac. Now it picks up the changing lighting conditions underneath the street lights and adapts the shadows and lighting on the floor effectively, coherently, and precisely, accurately mimicking reality. But if we look carefully, we can see where Sora has its limitations, and that is certainly in manifesting and generating extra objects, characters, and elements to the piece that were not there before. So if you look carefully at this video, you can see that there does not appear to be any cars in front of the main red car. And as we continue, suddenly there appears to be two cars almost crashing into each other on the left-hand side here and getting very close to our main red car. It seems as if the red car almost drives through these car on the left. Now, this is one of the most fantastic new demonstrations of Sora that we have. It's an alien blending in naturally with New York City. Paranoia, thriller.
これね、みんなそうなんだけどさ、背景の画像があって、背景の画像の人も動いてて、でそれからここに行ったその宇宙人も動いてる。それをその宇宙人がここに乗せて動かせてるっていうことができる。
Style 35
背景も動いてる。
millimeter film. It was absolutely incredible. I mean, you really could use this as the opening shot to a music video.
でこれができるってことはさ、俺映画できるなと思った。
確かに。
Or a film. The quality is good enough for it to be believable, and the wonderful cinematic feel to the blurred background and the intensity in his eyes, as well as the acting is very good as well. The acting of this character, that he's looking around naturally, he looks interested, and he also has this feeling of fear, of paranoia, of trying to blend in. I am empathizing with the character greatly in this. And be honest, if you look at the costume design, is particularly interesting that Sora has given him this very, very specific style, this denim overcoat and a beige t-shirt, and giving him this sort of slightly suspicious hat. The kind
これ
of
さ、ニューヨークの街をさ、30分録画してさ、そこに主人公をさ、貼り付ければ、それでもって30分の彼はニューヨークの散策の動画ができちゃうよね。
その元となる動画は必要なんですか？
元となる動画が必要なの。だから動画とか背景とか。ただこの今の技術だと面白いのは背景を動かしたり固定した写真の主人公を動かしたりすることができる。例えばこの主人公いる宇宙人、この人の例えば笑ったり手を挙げたりさせることができるの。一枚の写真から。で背景が写真の背景でも背景のその人々を動かしたりすることができるの。ということはさ、別にその、ビデオを撮ったものじゃなくてそれを動画として加工することができる技術はあるの。もうすでに。
hat somebody would wear if they don't want to be noticed, don't want to hide away a little bit. It's a very nondescript hat, but it works so well as an ensemble. And I particularly want to note the quality of the color choice.
これ彼首回したりさ、目回したりしてるの。これ AI 技術でやってるわけだから。
Voices in this shot, that we have the yellow eyes that really capture the attention. This is the strongest, most saturated color in the whole scene, and it draws you in and creates wonderful contrast, especially against the blue of the.
これすごいのはさ、この彼今喋ってるけど、背景とさ、ここに出てくる人とのコントラストをうまく自動調整してるんだよ。だから要するにこの今の天候とか気温とか彼自身が歩ってるのが違和感ないようにする技術を開発されてるんだよね。
Man's skin of this dear little alien, that the skin is the opposite color to yellow. So the opposite color to yellow in the color spectrum is blue, and that means putting these two together gives you the most amount of contrast. This is also the easiest way to combine colors in an aesthetic way, and Sora has understood this and applied this in a way that is realistic. So not only have they selected a beautiful color palette, but they've actually applied this in a way that creates a realistic cinematic experience that doesn't look overly stylized. I'm particularly impressed by this. And it's also continues to use different hues of blues in the rest of the scene, notably with his jacket, with his awnings, the sky, and the washed out colors of the world of New York City behind him. It also feels pretty good the way that he is turning slightly and the camera is following him round. It feels natural. The bobbingness to his gait adds a slight suspicion and anxiety to his experience. And as for the characters in the background, they all seem fairly realistic. Nobody seems to have
これすごいのはさ、彼がさ、このニューヨークシティの映像に馴染んでるのはすごくない？
確かに違和感がないです。
違和感ないでしょ。
unusual deformities. But here is the key thing about AI video, that the closer you look, the more obvious it is that it is AI generated. At first pass, you can say, okay, this is fairly realistic. But if you start to really analyze the details, the physics, and the elements in the video, it can be very obvious and apparent that this is fake. For example, if you watch here, on the left-hand side, we have a man in red pass him, and then suddenly another man in purple appears out of nowhere. He manifests. It's interesting that it maintains the red man, but it adds in an extra man. So if you're looking to identify whether a video has been generated by AI, it's very important to pay attention to extra limbs being formed, extra characters being generated, also limbs and characters being removed, and also paying attention to the way that light acts in a scene. Are there unnatural shadows? And does the scene show correct perspectives of reality? Are things enlarging or getting smaller? Do staircases lead to sensible places? And here is another incredible example. This is nighttime footage of a hermit crab using an incandescent light bulb as its shell. And it's a wonderful, imaginative idea, perfectly rendered with the
わかるよね、これ電球背負ってるのね。
coherent movement of the little hermit crab, really illustrating this idea effectively. And I think it's absolutely stunning, especially if we draw out exactly how beautiful the light parameters are in this piece. That the light coming out of the bulb of its shell is really bringing in our attention, and it's casting very realistic shadows over the subject. You can see that this back leg is lit up, and there is a shadow being cast across the rest of the individual. This is incredible that Sora is able to accurately predict where shadows will fall and different lighting conditions.
シャドウがちょっとわからなかったけど。
Dependent on the lights that are involved in the piece. It's also wonderful just to look at how realistic the crashing waves are, these tiny little lapping waves on the shore. They perfectly mimic the physics of water. Now let's take a look at this example. A teapot pours a magical liquid full of swirling multicolored nebula into an elegant teacup that sits atop a saucer. So let's take a look at what some of the strengths of
これさ、ちょっと変なのいくら注いでもカップに水が溢れない。
this piece are. Firstly, the ceramic is rendered extremely realistically. It certainly feels like a lifelike piece of ceramics. The reflections on the gold. And then I would say that the imagination of the universe swirling inside of this teacup is pretty beautiful. I would also like to mention that it accurately gets the fact that the amount of liquid will increase inside of the teacup as more is poured in. The water looks fairly realistic and is flowing in a natural way. It looks slightly thicker perhaps than water naturally would, as if it was a more viscous substance. I would say that the contrast is slightly high. But overall, it's a beautiful, stunning piece. Incredible bubble dragon. And you can see how wonderfully generated this video is. That it's got bubbles making up this incredible dragon. The prompt for this was a dragon made of bubbles, perfectly rendered 8K. This is an extreme close-up shot of a woman's eye with her iris appearing as the earth. So it's able to take two different concepts and combine them into one, into something that is surreal and unrealistic. And it does that with perfection. It understands the concept. Next up, we have a golden retriever and Samoyed should walk through New York City. Then a taxi should stop to let the dogs pass a crosswalk. So here we can see the dogs walking, and it's definitely New York City that they're in. However, we have to pay attention to some of the text being nonsensical and something.
これ何できるか示したいのはニューヨークの背景が動いてるのとそれからもう犬が動いてるで雪を降らせてるよね。
About the perspective feeling a little bit off. This woman is rather too tall under this shop, and they are seeing themselves in some signage. Next up, we have a white and orange tabby alley cat is seen darting across a backstreet alley in a heavy.
これなんかさもう本当に猫が動いてるのを映像でムービー撮ってるみたいでしょ？違うんだよね。
Rain looking for shelter, and the cat is moving very realistically. You can see the only thing.
だから猫の動画じゃなくて猫がもう一つあってそれをここに貼り付けて動かせてるんだよね。
That I can pick out here that is slightly off is the tail seems to be changing length. Next up, we have the cinematic trailer for a group of Samoyed puppies learning to become chefs. Now it's taking another surreal concept and easily anthropomorphizing these animals into master chefs. Here we have a tiger made of flowers leaping away and returning. So one aspect of Sora that appears to be working really well is creating surreal scenes in reality. So how can you take a realistic setting and create a imaginative, nonsensical subject inside of the scene? Next up, we have a cinematic trailer for a group of adventurous puppies exploring ruins in the sky. And again, this could easily be the advertisement for a children's film and is absolutely sensational. Here we have a man and a woman in their 20s are dining in a futuristic restaurant materialized out of nanotech and ferrofluids. So
これ見た時さ映画できると思ったの。これ実際にさ空が作ってるんだよね。床なんか見てみると分かるけどさ。
understood the
これ動いたでしょ。
different elements of this prompt and effectively rendered them out. Now the woman looks very realistic.
ね、だから woman looks very realistic 言ってるでしょ。
Hands have exactly the right amount of digits, and I appreciate the.
これができるっていうことは映画できるってことだよね。通り歩ってさレストラン入ってでこれはレストランのイメージになってないけど背景にレストランを貼り付ければいいんでしょ。であとこの2人を動かせればいいわけだよね。喋らせばいいんでしょ。あとセリフつければいいんだよ。
Interaction that's going on between these two. They're actually really talking. She is almost being a little bit flirtatious. He's certainly moving in and seems more interested.
だから菅谷なんかこういう仕事したらすごい儲かるんじゃないの。あそこになんだっけハリウッドは100億円かけて作った映画をこれ見たら1億円で十分できる。もしくは金かかんないかもしれない。なんでかっていうと後の方出てくるけど出てくる俳優の顔をすり替えられるんだよ素人に。そうするとさ肖像権がなくなるでしょ。だから例えばインディ・ジョーンズの映画の一部を切り取って顔をすり替えればさそれは半券なくなるんじゃないの。一部分だって
大丈夫なんですか。
それはだから張り替えられる。
Interested than she is a.
例えばここの顔をさ張り替えることができるの。
Classic depiction of human behavior.
でしかもその後で出てくるけど同じ動作をさせることができるの。
Next up, this is one of the most beautiful examples that I've seen in this new set of Sora examples. It shows a macro shot of a leaf.
だから100億円かかって今映画作ってるけど 1000万でできちゃうかもしれないよね、
確かに。
来年ぐらいから。今はだいたい1分とか2秒とか30秒とか1分とか2分とかだけど、半年ぐらいしたら1時間の映像ができるはずだよね。レイヤーが今例えばさっき言った3兆レイヤーだったら半年で30兆レイヤーになればもう1時間のビデオができるでしょ。
Showing tiny trains moving through its veins. So it's a very creative, surreal subject, and it's perfectly animated this complex idea. And I particularly love how
これよく見るとさ、繋がってないんだよね。
ああ、確かに。
ほら切れてるでしょ。
はい。
それはだから作りが雑だけど、要するにどこでも電車を走らせられるっていうのをここで示してるわけね。
the train goes underneath some of the
繋がってないでしょ。
veins here. You can see it's almost like little
すごい
tunnels, and it's beautiful that it has recognized to do this and added that in as a feature to give it more depth, more feeling, more beauty. Though perhaps you might argue that's not so realistic, that if there was a tiny train driving along its veins, it would not actually go underneath the veins connected to the edges of the leaf. But I like it. Here we have
ベインって羽の筋ね。
a close-up of a majestic white dragon with pearlescent silver-edged scales, icy blue eyes, and elegant ivory horns. Certainly reminds me of Spyro the dragon. Who remembers Spyro? The smoke coming out of the dragon is incredibly realistic, and the teeth are quite frightening. A tortoise whose body is made of glass, with cracks that have been repaired using kintsugi. So we have this beautiful, luminous turtle walking across a beach. And I can tell you that kintsugi is a Japanese type of ceramics
金継ぎ。
where they repair pottery by mending the areas of breakage with a gold lacquer. And it's a beautiful technique that really shows that something that is repaired can almost become more beautiful than its original incarnation. And I think they are stunning. And it's a very creative idea to apply this technique to a tortoise. One of the key skills about Sora and AI video in general is understanding where it works particularly well. If you're going to start using Sora in your own workflow, understanding that it works particularly well at generating unrealistic scenarios in realistic settings. That, I think, is the
彼っていうのはアンリアリスティックシーンをね、リアリスティックセッティングに変えると言ってるのね。
key use case that we're going
要するに実際じゃないようなやつをあたかもあるように編集できると言ってるのね。
to see Sora emerge from at first. Here we have a scuba diver discovers a hidden futuristic shipwreck. Next up, this is a fly-through tour of a museum with many paintings and sculptures and beautiful works of art in all styles. So you get a wonderful sense of perspective.
今言った彼言ったのは実際にありえないやつをありえるようにするっていうのはさっきの沈没船を見たりね、ここの博物館を見たり、そういうことはそのアンリアリスティックだけど現実にあったかもあるような形で映すことができると言ってるのね。
I particularly enjoy how it starts off outside of the museum and flies in through the courtyard. So I would say this might be quite challenging architecturally to actually
ということはさ、今まで博物館訪問なんかでね、こういう技術はなかったけど、今はこういうのをそれぞれの芸術品をそばで見ながら博物館をなんていうかな、もっと贅沢に見学することができるようになるんだね、きっと。
embody, and some of the rendering of the light panels, of the window panels in the ceiling, are not accurate at all. But it has created a very realistic scenario for a gallery, and the majority of the works of art look fairly believable. I'm not quite sure what this is in the corner. Is it a statue? Is it a woman?
これ実際にこれ誰かが動いてるんじゃなくて、こういうふうにこうシステムで動いてるかのように見せてるわけな。
Is it something else entirely? It's rather unknown. And this is a very long and extended piece of video that has been generated for this example, and it really shows Sora's ability to continually create original environments. Here is a beautifully rendered papercraft world. A steamboat travels across a vast ocean with wispy clouds in the sky. Now you can note that it has not actually rendered the wispy clouds, and the boat is moving in quite an unusual way. It's certainly floating a little bit. Though I do like this dancing whale. The whale is dancing particularly beautifully. And I appreciate the stylized way that the waves are crashing out from the ocean. That there is a very unique style to these. They're not realistic, but they're also not particularly paper-like. There is something in between about them that I find to be quite unusual and creative. So now for something a little bit more absurd, a red panda and a toucan are best friends taking a stroll through Santorini during the blue hour. I would say that this looks slightly less realistic than some of the other instances. The red panda is very robotic in this example, though its tail is wagging in quite an amusing way. I'm not sure if they look exactly like best friends. They look a little bit lost and as if they're like, what the hell are we doing in Santorini? Whose idea is this? It was you, Toucan. You wanted to go on a stag do to Santorini. I can't believe this is what you wanted to do for your bachelor party. There are absolutely zero strippers here. And the Toucan's like, let's go wild. I'm going to go crazy. Get the drinks in. Get me that beautiful, beautiful local drink. What's a local Greek drink? Okay. Now, next up we have a man base jumping over tropical Hawaii waters. His pet macaw flies alongside him. Now, the flapping of the wings is working particularly well here. I enjoy the angle and composition of the camera shot. It's giving us a lovely feeling of Hawaii. I would say that the actual parachute is slightly too small.
いやこれ見て分かるようにパラシュート小さすぎるよね。
確かに。
ね。
My feeling. And also, you can notice that this hand is not even sort of hanging
ほらこんな小さかったら。
onto anything. Now it grabs onto something. But at first it's completely open, which is an unrealistic interpretation of how you would handle a parachute. Now, there are a few places that you can stay updated with the latest examples from Sora. One is you can check out the OpenAI TikTok page, where they release almost daily new examples from Sora. Here is a horse wearing roller skates, skating in a half-pipe. Now, the true benchmark of AI video is undoubtedly Will Smith eating spaghetti. And as you can see, 1 year ago, we were quite impressed with this rather strange and deluded version of Will Smith eating spaghetti. But here is the Sora version. And you can see him. He's doing absolutely fantastically. He's maybe looking a little bit maniacal, but it's definitely Will Smith, and the realism is astounding. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I tell a lie. Naughty me. This is Will Smith was being very funny, and he parodied the actual video of the AI video of him eating spaghetti, of him actually doing that. So well done, Will Smith. You fooled us all. But many people are asking Sora to generate this image, this video, that it is the most liked comment on the Sora TikTok page, where Olifield says, we're still waiting on spaghetti eating Will Smith with more than 2,000 hearts. I'll add another one. And until we see Will Smith eating spaghetti, I will hold my breath on the quality of Sora.
TikTok にこれ映ってんだね。知らないけど。
But it's unlikely that they will actually create this type of video. This is because if we look at the terms of use inside DALL-E 3, which is OpenAI's text-to-image model, they do not allow you to create images in the likeness of famous people. So with that in mind, it's unlikely that they're going to allow it in their video model. And we have to say that OpenAI is generally the most cautious of many of the AI tools out there when it comes to creating types of content in its tool. They do not allow any nudity. They do not allow us to use famous people, and they don't even allow us to use the styles of famous artists or directors. And that's going to be a huge challenge for Sora moving forward. Now, another place that you can check out the latest updates on Sora is on Tim Brooks' Twitter feed. He is the Sora research lead, and he has posted a number of interesting examples. Here is one of my favorites, this glass turtle, where we can see the insides of a turtle moving along. It seems that turtles do particularly well in Sora. It is absolutely mind-boggling. It's both artistic and realistic. You would say that it's hard to point out anything that is anatomically unrealistic about this particular example, apart from the fact that he has a small world inside of his body. So what do these latest examples show us? They show us in more detail the capabilities of Sora and also the limitations. And the limitations are certainly that it appears to struggle with physics and reality.
反対に
It
走ってるよね
struggles to coherently create a believable world, and specifically
あとこれも
by
ね
not understanding the realities of how many limbs humans have, by adding in extra limbs and adding in extra characters, simply inventing them
これもねちょっと
rather than them joining the scene in a realistic way. It does a fairly good job of interpreting the universe, but it often messes up the perspectives and relations between people and objects. I would also say that stylistically, there is some room for improvement in the general look and feel of the videos coming out of Sora. And I'm saying this because if you look at how DALL-E performs with generating visually interesting images, it often struggles to apply beauty to the images. We can look at this example from DALL-E, and you can see that it creates a very saturated, high contrast image that's lacking stylistic intent. Whereas I would say that Midjourney, which is the leading AI image generator, creates much more visually pleasing images. This is important to note because there are a number of other AI video players coming into the game. We know that Midjourney is working on its own AI video tool, but it was only last week that Hyper was released, and I think that Hyper creates the most stylistically beautiful videos. And I also think it is the highest quality AI video generator that is available right now. That's because Sora is not available publicly, and there's not even a proposed release date. But I think they will release it soon because there are so many other AI video generators moving into the game that are creating videos that are close to the quality that Sora is offering. So you can see here are some of the examples inside of Hyper, and you can use this for free right now if you want to have a look at Hyper. The only limitation that I want to mention is that Hyper creates just 2-second videos at the moment, and that is more to do with them limiting the amount of weight on their servers rather than the capabilities of the tool itself. So let's take a look at a video from Hyper to show you what you can get out of this tool. So I would mention that the aesthetic of the video coming out of Hyper is extremely high. The visual quality, the visual artistry. I think that not only is the composition, the colors, the color grading, and even the models are beautiful. The actors inside of the piece, but also the visual flow of the works. Even in this landscape example, you can see the water rushing over the rocks. I would also like to share that if you find a 2-second limitation to being a large restraint,
なぜ2秒かって分かんないけど、もっと2分とかできるんだろうけど、多分作る時間がすごくかかるんだよね、きっと。今のなんていうの GPU のパフォーマンスだと。で NVIDIA が今の開発スピードでいけば半年ぐらいしたらば2秒じゃなくて2分ぐらいになって。1年経ったら2時間ぐらいになるの、1時間ぐらいになるの。
on your works. It's interesting to note that the majority of films or TV shows these days use clips and scenes that are between 1 and 3 seconds long. If you notice how often they cut during your favorite film, you'll see that it's extremely rare that they even use a shot that's longer than 3 seconds long. Of course, there are exceptions to this rule. I also have a full video breaking down exactly how you can use Hyper, available in the description, or here, if I remember to put one in. The other reason I believe Sora will release their models soon is because there are other platforms that are adding in extremely interesting features unrelated to just video generation. For example, in the last week, Pika Labs has announced a new tool that allows you to generate specific sound elements for your video. So you can generate video and audio at the same time. And this multi-modality of AI generation
オーディオとビデオを同時に生成してくれるソフト。
is where things are going to get really exciting. So I'm going to play you their preview and explain exactly how this works.
音出てる。
You can generate video and sound together. All you have to do is describe your scene and turn on sound effects. So it will automatically create what it imagines the appropriate sound effects to be. Now, once you've generated this, you'll get a sound added, but you can also come back and edit existing videos and add in sound afterwards. Now, this is great for creating more immersive pieces of content. And it will give you 6 different options for the sound that you want to use. And it's really showing us the direction that generative AI will take. And that's not just creating single medium pieces, for example, a single video, a single image, or a single piece of music, but being able to craft compelling, intricate worlds with simple text prompts. And that's what another tool, LTX Studio, is demonstrating as well. They are showing that you'll be able to update a number of different clips using simple text prompts. So if you're generating a whole story and you've got many different scenes and you want to adjust the character, you'll be able to do that simply with a text prompt. You'll be able to say, okay, actually, I want them to be of a different ethnicity. I want them to have a different hairstyle. I want them to have larger bosoms. And this is where...
何すごいかっていうと、さっき見せた女性を2秒だけど動かせ、もうリアリスティックに動かすのと同時に彼らが踊ったりするんだけど、その踊り方を違う人にでも同じようにさせることができる。
AI video is going to get even more exciting. So it's going to be another fascinating AI year. And I'm here to take you through everything that you need to know. So if you're interested in sticking around, I would like to mention that there is a subscription button around here somewhere. And if you find it, if you were to click it, it would be a great honor to have you join me on this journey into the frontier of AI development. I would like to say thank you very much for watching. It's a pleasure.
これソーラーね。その次は
これも空ですかね。
これも空かな。
I usually try to push out news videos like this, but this is the most excited I've been about an update from OpenAI or any AI tool ever. And that's saying a lot. This is better than any other AI video platform, and it's not even close. It's called Sora. It was just released today. And
これ見ると日本語がさ、
おかしいですね。
変なになってる。
And it's not just text to video. A few hours after they released those demos, they also released a research page that showed image to video, video to video. And actually my favorite part is this feature of connecting videos. Like this drone flying through these ruins, then changing into a butterfly flying underwater for some reason. But it looks amazing. They're supposedly allowing select creators to test it right now to get feedback, and they said to give the public a sense of what AI capabilities are on the horizon. I mean, the possibilities with this are pretty intense, honestly. I'll get into some of my overall thoughts and potential consequences and opportunities later, but let's jump into some more examples first. This movie trailer is from a single prompt, and it maintains the scene and character consistency across multiple shots. It has this dynamic camera movement and handheld shots, plus just how realistic the people are. And then there's a couple drone shots here that are just indistinguishable from real drone shots. Same with this longer one of an SUV driving on a dirt road. I mean, this scenery just looks so good. Or this cat walking through a garden is so true to the way a cat actually moves with that like light-footed stealthiness. Plus the physics of the fur and whiskers bouncing. And this is a 27-second shot. It can generate up to 1 minute, as opposed to the 4-second morphing kind of slow motion clips we see from everywhere else. But now let's look at some more complex scenes. This one in particular really blew me away. First off, just all these buildings being viewed
こ
coherently.
れ前映したような気がするんだけどね、ここはね。この外の景色とさ、内側の人が反射してるのが映ってる。
From all angles as it passes. But at the same time, there's all these reflections that interact with them properly with the lighting and refraction, especially if you go frame by frame right here as it crosses this building and see the scene it's actually reflecting. Honestly, other video generators would struggle just generating that scene on its own with multiple faces and hands, let alone as a reflection interacting with an even more complex scene. I'll jump through a couple quick ones here. All these people celebrating Chinese New Year is an unbelievable amount of people to be tracking, and they're all pretty coherent. And this fly through of a historical town has all sorts of like horses and people walking and carrying things, all while viewing these buildings from different perspectives. Or the ability to generate so many completely unrelated videos across all these TVs at once. I mean, that's just crazy to me. And most of the wildlife shots look essentially perfect. I really like this crab interacting with the octopus. A lot of this is photorealistic, but it can do other styles too. So we have some 3D animation shots that are amazing. Then this papercraft one is awesome. And this dancing one is a great spot for comparison because just the other day I was generating videos in Runway. It was of a cult of barn owls performing secret disco rituals. Don't ask. But my point is just look at the difference of these slow motion dance moves that start to like morph even in just a couple seconds clip, and some of these just have no faces. The comparison isn't even remotely close. And then I want to focus in on this one for a second. So it has two just incredibly detailed pirate ships that are viewed from all angles, but simultaneously having multiple difficult physics simulations of like the flags waving and then the liquid. Then it also knows to apply tilt shift to make it seem like it's miniature. And that just highlights how much is actually going on in this and how time consuming it would be to do this in any other way. Now those are all amazing, but let's look closer at the shots that involve people. And that's where things get really difficult. So first it can do a close-up of an eye incredibly well. So it even captures the little micro starts and stops your eye does when you move them from left to right. They're called saccades. But let's zoom out some more. Here's a gray-haired man pondering the universe. This is amazing. Even the just subtleties in his wrinkles as his face makes like minor expressions and like the different speeds he blinks, and then there's really accurate refraction in his glasses. But let's zoom out even more. So this one's actually the generation Greg Brockman used in his announcement, and it does an incredible job with reflections and this realistic walk cycle, and then proper physics on the purse and clothing and her earrings. That's all with a pretty complex background too. This is miles apart from anything we've seen before, but there are some issues with this. Like you're not going to be convinced this is a real video if you're paying attention at least. Like the feet kind of sliding across the ground, or if you look at any of the people in the background. They're good, but some are a little weird. So there's certainly limitations. So here's another one that has a lot of people in it while the camera is spinning, which is really pushing the limits. If you watch this bottom left corner, there's a kind of trippy perspective shift here, and then some weirdness in the hands and movements of the people. But overall, they look great, and can't stress enough how far beyond this is from anything else we've seen, but it is still, of course, not perfect, especially with people. But that's just when I'm analyzing them to find something weird. If I was just scrolling social media, I would think almost every one of these is real. And as the saying goes, this is the worst it will ever be. And all of those examples are at openai.com/Sora, but they also released more examples of all the other stuff it can do under the research section of their site. I'll link to that as well. Before I jump into that, I assume everyone watching this video uses ChatGPT to some extent, but one thing that can be a bit of a struggle is knowing how to implement it in your daily life, especially at work. That's why I've partnered with HubSpot to share a free resource bundle to help. It will be linked in the description. It covers topics across all different industries with tips and guides on how to use ChatGPT in those industries with specific examples and applications. I mean, the number one problem I hear from people regarding AI is they see these videos about ChatGPT or other AI tools and say, that's really cool, but how can I actually use it to help me, to save time or solve a problem? One example section here is called 100 Ways to Try ChatGPT Today, with 100 sample prompts you can use or modify for whatever career you have. And there will actually be 5 PDFs. That section's in the one called Supercharge Your Workday with ChatGPT. But go through all the other ones in there too. Again, they are completely free. Just use the link in the description to go download those. I've been happy to partner with HubSpot to bring these free resources to people who watch this channel. On to the Sora research. So I'll link to that as well. They call it video generation models as world simulators, which that title starts to feel a little weird. They say it's a promising path towards building general purpose simulations of the physical world. And this goes to some extent on how it was trained and how it works in these first sections. But let's look at some more examples. So it does demonstrate a lot more text-to-video capabilities with some really solid generations involving people. But since we've seen a lot of that, let's jump into the image-to-video. Just like with text-to-video, their image-to-video is far beyond any other video generators. So these are examples of animating DALL-E images, and they are all amazing. I mean, this one with the surfers being the most complex, and just like with the text-to-video, it does a really good job with the physics, like even in a really difficult example like this. It can also extend videos forward and backward in time. This is an example where all 3 videos were extended backwards, so they all lead to the same ending. This video-to-video is really impressive. So it starts with the example of change the setting to be in a lush jungle and does an amazing job. But you can click on this and it will be a drop-down to select from with all these different options. So we've got make it underwater. And how about change it to winter? We can add dinosaurs. Switch it to claymation. We've got a bunch of others here. So this is just next level when you compare it to something like Gen 2 or Kyber. Kyber can do a bunch of stuff that is pretty different from this, which I really like. We'll have to see once we can actually play with this. But either way, this is mind-blowing. Then this next section is probably my favorite part. So it can connect videos where it interpolates between the 2 input videos to create seamless transitions between them, even with entirely different subjects and scene compositions. So the center video is the one that combines them, and for each of these, it finds just a really creative and seamless way to merge them. Like this drone shot where it puts this snow diorama thing on the backside of the building. Then we've got this slow morphing between the chameleon and this cool bird. It looks just awesome while it's transitioning. And I'll just let these other 2 play. We've got this SUV turning into, I think it's a cheetah. And that historical gold rush town transforming into this underwater scene. Both just super cool. And it is also an image generator. Now, I wonder if this will be replacing DALL-E at some point. I assume it will, because honestly, just a screen grab from a lot of these videos looks better than if you ran that prompt through DALL-E. Right? This is what I got when I copied the prompt of the woman in autumn. I mean, this is just way better than DALL-E. And if we move along, it talks about some of the emergent capabilities of training at scale. Similar to how it is with LLMs, there's just unexpected capabilities that emerge when you train a model like this. They say some of that has led to its ability to generate dynamic camera motion that shifts and rotates while people move consistently throughout 3D space. And the object permanence, as these people walk past this dog, it'll be completely blocked from the frame at some points, but it still persists and will be there after they walk past. Interacting with the world is another capability that no other model has been able to really do. So it can still only affect the state of the world in simple ways, but these examples of painting and actually leaving the brushstrokes on the canvas or leaving bite marks on a burger, this is amazing. This is a huge step forward. They also do show some limitations like glass shattering. They did show some more limitations on the main site where the physics was off, like this person running backwards on a treadmill, these wolf pups just kind of appearing out of nowhere, some weird interactions with this chair, and a few others. Again, not perfect. And it also has just this mention of simulating digital worlds where it can control a player in Minecraft while also rendering the world and its dynamics in high fidelity. And the ways this will be applied in video games in the future is going to change that whole world too. Honestly, I'm still processing a lot of this. It is such a monumental breakthrough. I wasn't expecting to see text to video like this until maybe the end of the year at the earliest. They're working on putting some guardrails around this, which they should, but I mean, there's only so much you can do. You know, people have complaints about the censorship within ChatGPT, which I get, but when it comes to videos, which is generally done with the intent to share it, it just gets a lot more complicated. We already have fake videos all over the place, some of relatively harmless things like fake landscapes or fake weather phenomenon. Then there is the more sinister side of fake videos spreading around of war victims or political figures. Up until this point, they're usually pretty obvious to anyone that's close to this stuff, but maybe not to everyone else. Sometimes they seem to trick millions of people, but as these tools keep getting more sophisticated, that will just accelerate and also become impossible to detect. As far as videographers and filmmakers and YouTubers, there'll be a lot of possibilities that open up. I think creating just amazing B-roll really easily is going to be awesome. I personally avoid stock footage almost completely because it just feels generic, but if I can generate something that I kind of imagined for each occasion, that's just a lot more interesting to me and engaging for the audience. Overall, this
喋るの
completely opens the door for anyone to create visual stories. In the same way one person can write a book, one person could be able to create an entire movie. This just provides more tools to create with, and new types of content will emerge. There will be bumps along the way with AI content farms and deepfakes, misinformation. I'm not worried at all about being replaced. I think that no matter how good any of these tools get, people will always be more interested on seeing things that humans do themselves. There's a lot of uses for this to help people in the process, but not to replace people entirely. Also, I think as more generated content comes out, there will just be a pendulum swing in the other direction for people craving more authentic human content. People are consuming more content than ever, so really there will be demand for both. There's a lot of random thoughts at the end there. This is a much more off-the-cuff video than usual. This update was amazing, and if you want to stay up to date along the way to everything that happens in AI, make sure to subscribe here and check out Futurepedia.io. We curate all the latest and greatest AI tools. You can find the best tool for any use case, use the chatbot to help guide the process. You can save your favorites, then you'll be given personalized tool recommendations every week. There's been a ton of updates there, so go check it out if you haven't for a while. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Sora
お茶買ってきた。
え
お茶買ってきた。
トイレ
自販機
OpenAI just
えあ飲み物ちょっと 2,3 分休憩しようか。
そうですね。
これまだ空かな。まだこれ5分ちょっとトイレ行ってくる。
はい。
いや
2、3分休憩だそうです。これピントずれてる動画とかもこういう AI 使ったら綺麗に修正できそうですね。
木本も休憩してんの。
戻ってこないですね。
あ持ってきた。多分これも空かもしれないね。今度映像が出てきた。
Hello everyone, it's me again, Miss Candy, your AI assistant. Today, I will show you how to create realistic videos using Hyper AI. On their homepage, you can explore different AI-generated videos created on this platform. You can use them as your guide and inspiration. You can create your video using only text, or you can also animate your own image. We will try both today. Let's first create a video using text.
これ見てさ、Create Video with Text でしょ。それから Animate Your Image でしょ。Repaint Your Video. Create with Text Prompt. Animate Your Image. まあ、いろんなオプション。
Let's input our prompt. After you input your prompt, you can see two different settings you can change. The first one is if you want to show your videos to the public. The second one is you can write the seed you want. If you put a seed, your generated videos will have visual consistency. You can also change your video duration, but it is currently only 2 seconds for now, with 4 seconds coming soon. Let's now click Create. Hyper AI is new and currently in beta, which is why you will need to wait for a long time. Therefore, we will create multiple videos now. Let's now see the results. The first video is good. The second video's problem is the movement of the tree. The third video is also good for me. The fourth video is bad. The fifth video does not have motion. The results are bad, but we can fix this. As you can see on the top side of the video, you can see a bunch of options. The first one is regenerate. If you click this, you will have the same visual but different motion. Next is very prompt. This one allows you to add or change your prompt. Next is repaint. To be honest, this one is very bad, and I don't like any result I have made on this, which is why I will not use this today. On the bottom of the video, you can see the download button. Now let's regenerate again the video that has bad results. Let's see the results again. As you can see, the tree is already fixed, but the video almost does not have motion. The robot teddy bear motion is now very good. This one is the same as the bird video. They have really small movement, but we can fix it by regenerating again. Now, here is the result. You can now see the best result. Now let's try to animate our images. We will use these 3 images and
これで
let's
さ、想像してほしいんだけど、今2秒でしょ。さっき言ったように半年経ったら2分、1年経ったら1時間を作ってくれるってことだね。で、この彼女の場合はさ、今のさっきのと違ってもっとマシだよ。
see if Hyper AI makes this a good animation.
見て見てこれ。
Let's upload our image and put a prompt on it. After that, click Create.
いろいろやっていく。
While we are waiting for the result, I just want to share that I created a short trailer about AI that is about to conquer the world and take control of us. It is a short trailer. I hope you give time to watch it after watching this video. Thank you. Now here's the result. This is an amazing result. The movement is very smooth. Next. This one is also good, but the problem is the lighting. And this last one, this is pretty good for me. If you really need a simple animation of your image, this will be good to use. The 3 of them have good results, but let's try to generate them again and let's see if there will be a much better result. While waiting, I just want to share with you that if you download this video, you can only get a resolution of 1280 by 720. But don't worry, there is a really good free AI video upscaler up to 4K. Just search for CapCut Free Video Enhancer and click on the top result. Then, upload your video. Once your video is uploaded, click on Upscale, and your video will be upscaled by 2 times, resulting in a resolution of 2560 by 1440. After the processing is done, click Export in the top right corner of the window and click Download on the bottom right corner of the window. Now let's go back to our tutorial and check the final result.
ほら、顔向く。
I didn't expect that her face would change. For me, it is really weird, but at the same time, it is awesome. The changing of her face is really smooth. Next, this one is perfect now. The lighting and movement are good for me. And last one, this is almost the same as the original video. This is also good, but I like the original more. You can always regenerate your video if you want to see more results. Thank you for watching and have a great day.
で、これが、ハイパー。ハイパーソフト。で次はね、ハイパーのサンプル。すごいよ、これ。
これ 2秒でしたよね、ハイパーって。
あ、そうです。ビデオを作るソフト。この背景とさ、これ女性の写真からこういうふうに作ってる。これでさ、木本が言う小説できますかってできるでしょ。小説できるでしょ。すごくないこれ。これ写真から作ってるんだよ。髪の毛動いてるけど。
すごいな。
ということです。これ短いの。で、これの背景をハイパー。
That came out of Sora. Well, you can make your own today. I'm going to take you through some of the examples coming out of Hyper, show you how to use it, and much, much more. So, let's explore the latest frontier in AI video together. Just take a look at these videos. We get some fantastically crisp, realistic videos showing a huge variety of different scenes with excellent animation, coherence, and quality to all of their video. Now, if we look at a realistic scene of a car splashing water, and you can really sense the spray. I love these effects of drops almost hitting the lens. Now, in this example, we see a lovely, delicate collection of carrots slowly floating down a river. And just take a look at the reflections on the water. But we can take a look at some more photorealistic interpretations, especially of this woman. You can see that she looks relatively real. I would say the only issue is that her lips are a little bit fake, like little slugs on her face. But this is an accurate representation of Elon Musk. And the thing I particularly love about this AI tool is the stylistic intent that is obvious.
これさ、プレゼントオブユナイテッドステーツって書いてあるね。でこれだから作ってんの。
The artistry,
the
aesthetic that naturally comes out of these videos, that they all look particularly visually
後ろにあるでしょ、アメリカのなんていうの、アドミニストレーションの旗がね。
engaging, which is incredible. That the colors, the composition, the tones, and the taste
大統領になったらどんな感じになるかって作ってるね。
of the works are incredible. Look at this image of an eye. Each individual eyelash has been carefully rendered. And I believe that if you took a look at this, you would be pretty shocked that it was not a real video. Now, the best thing is that it's completely accessible and completely free right now. So you can come to Hyper, click try for free, and immediately you'll be led into the platform where you can enter in any simple text prompt that you like and generate your own realistic AI video in seconds. Now, to do this, all you have to do is come down to the text box at the bottom of the page and describe what you would like to see. For this, I simply recommend that you add in a subject, a type of motion, and a style. So there are three things that we're looking at. So I've asked for a beautiful blonde Swedish woman walking towards the camera, blurred background, city scene, Tokyo night, and you can go ahead and click on create. And what's great about Hyper is the ease of use. So you can simply enter a very basic prompt like this and immediately get out a hyper realistic video. Now, I'll tell you a little bit more about Hyper whilst this is loading. It's been developed by 2 ex-employees of DeepMind, and DeepMind is a Google-owned artificial intelligence company with a great background in AI tech. They've raised around 13 million in seed funding. They originally aimed to create a tool for 3D reconstruction, which is creating 3D models using AI, but they switched to video generation due to it being a more fascinating problem. Now, there is hope that this may well remain free for a little while, as Mio said that the company aims to keep these features free in order to build a community. He noted that it is too early in the startup's journey to think about building a subscription product around video generation. Here is the Swedish woman walking through Tokyo, and you can see it's absolutely incredible that the individual strands of hair are being animated and the cars are moving coherently in the background. We've got a wonderful cinematic bokeh effect here, and everything about the individual is anatomically correct. However, I would say that perhaps it has not accurately created the movement that I've requested, which is for the protagonist to be walking towards the camera. It's almost as if she's throwing a look back over her shoulder seductively. Now, if you want to download your work, all you have to do is press on the download icon underneath each image. And this vertical video was exported at 720 by 1088, whereas the horizontal videos are coming out at 1280 by 720. So we're getting a high definition of video coming out, and it's also possible to then take these and upscale them further using a tool like Topaz Video. Now, Hyper gives a couple of pointers for effective prompting inside of its tool. In general, it's good to use clear and specific language, provide detailed descriptions of the subject and scene to help the AI model generate accurate images. Make sure to be concise. Use concise language, avoiding unnecessary vocabulary that might confuse the model or dilute the intended meaning. Finally, be creative. Employ interesting vocabulary, metaphors, or contrasts to stimulate the model's imagination and creativity. You can see here they're really anthropomorphizing their tool. They're believing that it has its own imagination and creativity, and essentially, we're getting pretty close. Now, one thing that I particularly appreciate is that when you are describing a scene, you have the ability to add in a stylistic tag. So they have a number of different styles which will automatically apply a type of feeling and visual influence onto your work. And the ones they have available here are old film, watercolor, cyberpunk, arcane means mysterious, Lego, blurred background, which is a bokeh effect and generally gives you a very cinematic feel. As you can see in my video here, I've actually blurred out this plant over my shoulder, and if I do this, hopefully it will blur out more of the content. So you can use these as a starting point to really stylize your work. Now, there is also an eye available here, which allows you to either create in public or turn it off and allow your creations to be kept private. Next up, you notice there are these 2 little candy icons on their side, 2 little sliders, and this essentially gives us more parameters to play around with. At the moment, you can only create 2-second long videos, which is quite short, but the quality is so high, I am completely willing to overlook that fact. And they have mentioned that they will be expanding the length of these videos before too long. After that, there's also the seed. And what the seed does is it is the starting point for generating the initial image grid. A seed is randomly generated for each image, but can be specified using parameters. If you use the same seed, number, and prompt, you will get similar final videos. So if you want to recreate a video, and keep it as similar as possible each time you generate it and just slightly tweak a few things, well, then you can use seed. Now, there are a number of different ways to create your videos inside of Hyper, and to explore these, you can come to the green circle icon on the left-hand side of the screen. And from here, you can select from Create with Text, which is essentially using a prompt. You can use Animate Your Image, which is where you upload an image and it will use it as a base to then animate from. This is fantastic for taking your AI artwork from other platforms like Midjourney or Ideogram and giving them an animated flavor. So here is a image that I uploaded to Hyper and asked it to animate for me. Now, there is also a video-to-video tool which promises to allow you to change elements inside of your video. This is incredibly exciting, and it gives us the power to take existing videos and change them. Now, let's take a look at how this matches up to Sora. We can see using this same prompt that we get some woolly mammoths walking towards the camera. I would say that the Sora model is still more realistic, but comparing this to the existing models that we have, it's absolutely incredible. Let's take another look at a Sora comparison. This is the same prompt. This one is coming out of our dear friend Hyper. And here we can look at the prompt that was put into Sora. And you can see that the Sora version, I would say, is still winning out. But it's incredibly close. Now, Hyper is creating a number of creative applications for this tool. I particularly like their idea of taking sketches and turning them into videos. Here you can see they've turned this simple image into this stunning rendering of this rather aggressive looking bunny rabbit. I would not like to meet him on a battlefield. 2024 is certainly shaping up to being the year of AI video, with tools like Runway, which is backed by NVIDIA and Google, and also OpenAI, who have teased and tempted with their Sora model, are really ramping up the game, and we're seeing huge rapid advancements to the technology. As Rebecca Hunt, a partner at Octopus Ventures, said, once the models get to a point that transcends the uncanny valley and reflects the real world and all its physics, there will be a period where the applications are infinite. The implications and applications of AI video are immensely, exponentially more impactful than that of AI art, of still images. We're going to see whole worlds, whole narratives, whole films being created with simple text prompts. We've seen recently with products like LTX Studio and Morph Studio the potential for taking AI video and being able to simultaneously adjust a number of clips in one go. So if you are creating an entire advert and you want to change the color of your product across all shots, you can do that in an instant. And it's this further degree of complexity and production that we're going to see start to evolve out of the latest AI tools and technologies. And what I'm excited about is, as we're going to start to develop AI video, we're also going to see the ability for multimodal AI input. So we'll be able to ask the AI to generate not just the video, but actually come up with storylines, with dialogue, with music and voice, and synthesize all of these together whilst maintaining consistent characters, consistent voice, tones, vocal inflections, and stylistic intent. It's an incredibly exciting time. I'm slightly giddy with excitement. I'm feeling a little bit lightheaded here. Oh, there's so many AI announcements. How does one stay abreast? Well, if you want to stay abreast, I do my best to give you sincere, truthful, and honest content on the latest AI tools. And if you would like to stay with me, do consider touching this button down here. I believe there's a subscription button.
ということですね。これはハイパーで、次はね、ハイパーのね、これはね、ピクスバースというソフトがあるんだ。これはね、ピクスバースのソフトの場合どうなるかっていうことで、ハイパーよりちょっと一味違うそのサンプルをピクスバース。がね、日本語になってない。 これがねエグザンプルで、これのねピクスバースはどうなってるかっていうと、
Hello, my friends, how are you doing? 2024 is going to be big in AI video, but also in video in general. For example, with spatial video that is featured by Apple and their Vision Pro headset, but also all of the other technologies out there. For example, with DV Pose for video, with Depth Map that is developed by TikTok, or with Animate Anyone. Today, we are going to look at Pixverse, but in the upcoming videos in the next days, I'm going to look at different other AI video pages, so stay tuned and subscribe to this channel. Also, I want to invite you to follow me on Twitter where I post my AI experiments, new technologies.
同じ女性を着物を変えて背景を変えてる。今のね、これほら、同じ女だけどさ、着るものを変えて背景を変えてるでしょ。
You to follow me on Twitter where I post my AI experiments, new technologies like, for example, VR, and I share my findings for the best prompts you can use on Midjourney to create really stunning image results. Let's get started. On the Pixverse website, you can already see really amazing examples here in this community preview. Here are some. I want to show you this one really blew my mind with the amazing animation and movement you can see here. Here's another one with this really nice background movement. I think this page is really good to start you off if you want to create a AI-based movie, to create these different scenes. They are short, they're only some seconds long, but often if you have a quick cut of a video, that is already good, and this is a starting point, and it is for free. That is the important part about that. Here you have another animation. This page is really good at these kind of wavy flowing things. I will show you some more examples of myself in a second. Here we have another example of a character actually with mouth movement. In here in the prompt you can say it says goodbye, so that might be good if you put some sound to that. It's not specifically good at character animation, but as you can see here, it can create some pretty nice results. And here we have another one where a guy is moving downstairs. Look at the movement of his raincoat. That is really stunning, and how he's walking into the scene, really impressive. Next, I want to show you some examples of my own experimentation and what I would say this page is really good at. So one of the things it's very nice at is fire and smoke animation. Here we have the fireman standing in these flames, and you can see this works really nice. Now, this is not a first roll. I had to try this 5 different times, but like I said, the page is free. You can render as many videos as you want, but the queue is limited to 4, so you have to wait until the videos are rendered until you can upload more stuff. Another thing this is really good at is moving cars or movement blur. In this case, we have here this Formula 1 car. If you would put some sound to that, that would be even better. Another thing that can be really nice here is the rotation around an object. Here you can see we have these clouds, and I have to say my mind is blown on how this makes up additional parts of the scene, but also makes the clouds and the movement, the rotation around the hot air balloon really nice and believable. This looks very good. Another thing that works amazingly well on Pixverse is these waves here, especially like really aggressively, intensively moving waves. The water looks amazing. Overall feeling is just really nice. And one more thing, the rotation of a scene. I feel like if there is clouds, if there's a spaceship, if there's an object, it can move around, especially if it's a technical object. This works really well and creates very nice results. It can also create blinking eyes of a character, although I found that's kind of hard to achieve, especially because there is no motion brush to inspire that. So you might need multiple rolls to get that going. But if it works, you can see here the result is really beautiful. Now let's talk about how to get the process started. It's actually pretty easy. Up here you have the create button. Click on that.
これやってるのをさ、今後どういうことができるかを予言してるんだよな。
Then on the top left side, you have the text and image choice. Click on the image choice. And here you can either upload a file or you can select from assets you have already uploaded. If you select from an asset, you get a list here, and that's a little bit confusing. So what you need to do here is select the image, and then you need to click here on are you sure to upload. We're not uploading anything, but this is actually applying the image. So you click on that, and this is then adding the image over here in the little box. Otherwise, when you upload it, you just upload it. Then describe the kind of movement you want to have in here and what specifically is moving. Down here, you can play around with the strength of the motion. The seed is usually random, but as you see here, you can also enter and seed and then just click on create down here. And as I said, there's a queue of 4 videos that you can fill up. If one of them has rendered, you can start the next one. But as long as all 4 are rendering, you have to wait for at least 1 to finish. It is good to experiment here a little bit with the strength of the motion and the text and the prompt to see what works and doesn't work. Also, sometimes even with the exact same settings, but with a different seed, you get a much better result. So it's not always the fault of the prompt or the strength of the motion. One thing I find rather important for the quality of the video is the quality of the input image. Now, you also have here text to image generation, so you can use that. As you can see here, you have the prompt, negative prompt, you have different styles you can choose from, you have different aspect ratios you can apply to. But personally, if you have the funds, I would suggest to use Midjourney. And Midjourney has come back in a big way, especially with the alpha test of their web version, which is really, really good. Now, you can only access the alpha version if you have already at least created 5,000 images. So if you are completely new to Midjourney, you still have to rely on the Discord version, but even there, it works really well. And as you can see here from my creations, I have created all of the images for this video in Midjourney because it is just very good, high quality, can create any kind of style with very nice precision in there. So this is actually a very, very good tool, especially if you don't want to play around with a ton of different settings and a ton of different models. This is an easy way to use AI and get really stunning results, like for example this image here. If you want to go for a subscription of Midjourney, I absolutely suggest to you, you get the standard plan. Do not go for the basic plan because as you can see here, it does not have unlimited relaxed GPU time, which means if the 3 hours run out, you're done for the month.
Hey everyone, I'm really excited today to give you a first
これね、さっきの LTX、また別のソフトウェア。
look at LTX Studio. This is a platform that we took a look at a few weeks ago that offers you an unprecedented amount of control and features to generate AI films. And since I've partnered with them, they've given me the go-ahead to take you on a tour of the platform, and I think you're going to be really impressed with the amount of features that they've managed to pack in here. As a quick caveat, what we're looking at here today is early access. Basically, I have been alpha testing for them. So a few things might change on final release, but what's more exciting is that even with everything I'm going to show you today, there is still more to come. Okay, let's dive in. When you first log into LTX Studio, you will be greeted with the AI Storyteller module. I know this is fairly minimalist right now. Don't worry. We're going to end up populating this out pretty quickly. So clicking on that, from here, you have the option of writing down your own film idea, or you can generate from a few of the different examples. For now, I'm just going to use one of the examples. We'll be taking a look at generating something on your own in just a minute. So let's do Shadow's Whisper here. A detective with supernatural abilities investigates eerie murders, discovers a ghostly connection. That is my wheelhouse. From here, LTX Studio has not only given us the title of our story, Ghost in the Shadows, a story overview, and actually casted our characters. And a big selling point of LTX Studio is the fact that these will be consistent characters throughout our story. Here's the plus side, this is all editable. So very minor, but I'm just going to change
all editable って言ってるでしょ。これを編集できる。
the title to A Ghost in the Shadows. I like that better. And then for Jack Benjamin Rivers here, you know, it's okay. If we want, we can sort of re-roll him a few times. But ultimately, if we don't like his overall look, we can come down to this edit button, and now we can change Jack's overall appearance by prompting. So I'm going to swap out Jack to having short, dark black hair. And then for his clothing, I'm going to put a black t-shirt and jeans. Apparently, Jack shops at the same store I do. There are a number of different options for Jack's voice. They seem to be adding new ones all the time, too. For now, I'm just going to leave him on default, which is Josh Deep. And if you hate the name Jack, we can change out Jack's name if we want to. Although in the last 20 seconds, I really feel that we've bonded with Jack. So I'm just going to leave, you know, I'm going to take the Benjamin out. He's just going to be Jack Rivers now. So from here, we just hit confirm. And in a few moments, Jack Rivers has repopulated to our new specs. Jack seems pretty intense there, so let's try re-rolling him one more time. Well, there you go. Jack is a very handsome dude. As a note, you can even swap out Jack's face if you want to for like a photo of yourself. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. But for now, I'm just going to hit start and see what we get. From here, you will find yourself in storyboard mode, which is kind of an overview of your entire film. This is where you'll probably be spending the most amount of time in LTX Studio. You can see individual scenes are broken down, and then individual shots work vertically across. So let's take a listen to what the narration sounds like for scene 1.
As a detective, I've seen my share of darkness, but nothing prepared me for the supernatural.
It's a little hammy, so let's rewrite that. So swapping that out for
10 years on the job, and I've seen my fair share of the other side. But I still wasn't ready for this case.
Still a bit hammy, but okay, it's a first draft. So now that we have our narration, we can begin manipulating our shots. For example, we have a lot of shots of Jack back to back, which I don't particularly love. So what we can do is just hit this plus button and we'll have a new shot generated, and I can just drag this shot over to the front to make this an establishing shot, which actually is, it kind of already did an establishing shot, so that's pretty great. We can also come up here and change our various locations. So right now it's in a police station. I'm gonna change this out to detective office. And as you can see, everything begins regenerating based off of that location prompt. Let's swap the weather out to raining as well. We'll go full like David Fincher on this one. So I've also changed out the shot type to from above so that, you know, we kind of have that sort of dramatic angle of the rain falling and the camera tilted down. And yeah, that looks pretty cool. So from here, we can move into shot 1, which would be, you know, Jack at his desk. I don't overall love this shot in particular either. So again, we can begin swapping around. The shot looks good. Of course, we've got some morphing problems happening here. So I'm gonna turn down the motion scale a little bit and try to regenerate that. Obviously, these shots don't work that great, so I'm just gonna delete them. Then adding in a few more shots, I gave a file cabinet of old files here to represent his old case files, followed by Jack sitting at his desk reading an old case file, worried. I can also prompt for an overall scene sound. So for example, while it's raining throughout here, I can either individually go through and add in sound effects to each one of these shots, or I can give an overall, you know, scene sound that runs across this particular scene. So in this case, I'm gonna put distant sound of rain. And there we go, some nice rain sounds that will add some atmosphere to this particular scene. So let's move on to scene 2. Again, we have some kind of canned dialogue here, so we'll swap that out in just a second. We can also change our lighting too. If you'll notice, we have moody down here, so I'm gonna change this out to moody blue hue, let's say. Ooh, that actually looks pretty nice. So swapping out our VO to this.
It started with eerie murders, seemingly unrelated except for one thing that no one else seemed to see.
And so, since through this sequence, it's pretty much just going to be Jack investigating murders, unfortunately, I'm going to have to ditch out my favorite shot here of the ghost. So that was just as simple as coming up and deleting him. If you'll notice here, this actually isn't Jack as well. Again, the build that I'm working with here is pre-release, so there are still some things that they're working out. So, but all we have to do is actually come up here and call him out by just hitting @Jack. Jack Rivers, he's tagged, so now this will repopulate with an image of Jack. So because we have this longer dialogue sequence here, but only these two shots, what we can do as a bit of a time saver here is that we can just simply come up and duplicate out these shots. Maybe give it 4 shots here. Slide our Jack shot over to become shot 2 again. Rename this to shot 3 for consistency. And then just change the angles up a little bit to give us sort of a variety of shots. Maybe we'll call out Jack in another one of these. For the final scene of our example, I've changed out the narration to this.
A woman, standing on the outskirts of every murder, a stone expression, and she never spoke. But who was she?
Yeah, I'm not winning an Oscar for best screenplay there, but whatever. So again, we just ended up tagging @Eleanor, the character that we generated up earlier, standing